Hi, lovely. Welcome to Start Somewhere with Isabel, your self-investment podcast created to empower you to fight fear, cultivate confidence, and become your most empowered self. No matter the goal, whether big or small, this podcast, it will give you the motivation to start. Quick disclaimer before we start, this show is only for those committed to personal growth and self-investment. So if you're ready to start with the first step, not the entire staircase, let's start somewhere together. Yes, guys, I do not pre-record that intro. I say it every single time because I love to, and I do stumble every now and then, but that's okay. So, hello, welcome back to another episode of Start Somewhere, the podcast. We are officially in Sagittarius season. Now, I'm biased because I'm a Saggy, but it is the best time of the year. Her birthday is Friday, November the 29th of November. I will be 28. I'm so excited to put 27 in the past and leave it behind me and put it in the bin and just take forward all the learnings and lessons, but leave it in the past and become 28. I'm actually so excited. It just feels so mature and grown up, and it sounds like such a nice number. I love even numbers. Every time I'm an odd number, life is just so rickety and rocky, and I'm just not into it. So I'm keen for some smooth sailing, even numbers coming up. If you've been keeping up with the recent episodes in this November Unbothered series, we have covered a lot. We've covered growth, exploration, and now as we enter the fiery, fun Sagittarius season, we become even more liberated. We have a clear head, and we get to burn up any old narratives and limiting beliefs that we keep telling ourselves, such as I have no money, I'm broke, it's too hard, or anything else that you are actively choosing to believe. These are limiting beliefs that are keeping you stuck. So instead, we are going to open up to the possibility where, my love, anything is actually possible. The truth sets us free, and the truth will always come out. Always, always, always. Trust me, I know. The truth always comes out. Whether you are lying to yourself or you're not living in truth or somebody around you is not being truthful, it will always come out. So our themes for this Sagittarius season are expansion, freedom, and finding your truth, which really kind of sums me up as a person as well. It's also all about staying focused, remaining one-minded, so single-tasked, not being all over the place, and how to authentically break free of any limitations. So these old narratives that are holding you back. So we got clear on a lot of those in our weekly planning episode, which was a lot of fun. So be sure to go and listen to that if you haven't already. But without further ado, I'm going to start with a bit of love, which is sharing a lovely listener's review of Start Somewhere. This is a new segment I've been doing recently. It's been so beautiful for me to relish in the love, the gratitude, show the gratitude for the listeners as well of the podcast. If you want to be featured, if you want your name shouted out on the podcast, your review, please be sure to leave us a 5-star rating on the Apple Podcast app. That's where you can actually leave a text review along with your name. If you are a Spotify listener, you can swipe up and give it a 5-star rating as well. This week's review comes from the lovely Vanessa. She says, I love listening. I first connected with Isabel a year ago. She is such a ray of sunshine. Listening and watching her grow has been so beautiful to see. Every podcast I listen to, I can hand on heart say I resonate with so much of the content she speaks about. The fact she is also on her spiritual journey is just so comforting to hear her talk about likable topics. Now I'm working with Isabel one-to-one, and it's honestly been the best thing I have done for myself. Thank you for your authenticity and being so pure. Oh my gosh, that is so sweet. Thank you so much, Vanessa. That actually melted my heart reading that. Thank you so, so much. Wow, that does not come lightly. I really am grateful incredibly for that. And to all of the beautiful listeners of the show, for you, maybe you are a newbie here, welcome, hello. Or maybe you're a long-time listener, or maybe I've actually read out your review on the show. No matter where you are, I'm grateful for you and for choosing to click play, because we are in for a very exciting ride today. So something I've recently started somewhere to show you guys that I am a walking, talking embodiment of start somewhere. Something I've recently started, this is so random, guys. Something I've recently started is washing my hair more often. So I was always a once a week washing hair type of person. My hair is super thick. It can go a long time. But that being said, I exercise a lot and it gets really sweaty and gross. But my hair is very long and thick, as I just said, and it's such a process to wash it and to style it and to do all the things. However, I have been washing my hair, the fact I'm saying this is so random, twice a week, and it has been amazing for how I'm showing up. I feel so much better with clean, beautiful hair, and I'm carving it and I'm looking at it as a beautiful self-care regime in my routine, where it's not, oh, I have to wash my hair tonight. It's like I get to style my hair and look after it, maybe put in a beautiful hair mask, or just have that evening for myself or that morning for myself where I'm taking care of myself. So random, I know, but for the longest time ever, I would always wash my hair once a week. And I know a lot of us do. It's quite normal, actually. But I've been doing it twice a week and I've been loving it. And it's a kind of breaks my week up into two. It's like a great reset. Normally, it's like a Tuesday night. I do have a body attack class Tuesday evening. So I'm a sweaty mess after them. I come home, have a shower, wash my hair, do the things. And then the rest of the week, I just have a beautiful mane, only for it to get very sweaty, most likely on a Friday or the next day even when I go to another sweaty gym class. But I'm like, fuck it. And if anything, I got a haircut, and if you're watching the video, my hair is incredibly long and I love it. I love long hair so much. And I just got a haircut and it's still so long. So people ask how, I've had a few people message me saying, how do I get my hair so long? I feel I'm just genetically blessed in that area. I don't do anything. I don't do any hair serums, and I occasionally do a hair mask. I just use any shampoo. I probably should, but I don't. But at least I'm washing it twice a week now. So random. Let me know who can resonate with me on that one. Maybe you are a once a week hair washing person. That was me, but we've changed. And it's really changed my life for the better. So let's jump into today's episode. 3 steps to manifest quicker and easier, because we are all impatient. We all want things yesterday. We all want things before we even know that we want the things. I hear you. I'm with you. But this has been such a humbling lesson for me recently in terms of practicing patience, and good things take time. And my mentality for as long as I can remember is, if something is taking a long time to manifest or to happen, I just tell myself the longer that it takes means that it's just going to be more sustainable. It's going to stick around in our life for the long run, opposed to it being this flighty, this fleety, this quick dash, in and out kind of situation. However, the first point to help you get the ball rolling, get your manifestations to come in quicker, get this thing that you want to happen a lot faster is, number 1, take bold, messy action. Things lead to things. Starting somewhere. I almost guarantee that the thing you want to happen isn't even actually going to happen how you think it will. Let me explain. I thought I wanted this particular job, but I didn't get it. What I got instead was something way more aligned and makes way more sense to me. But in the moment, it's all I wanted. It's all I was actively manifesting and trying to work towards and holding on to it so tightly. And it wasn't until I didn't get it and I got something way better, I realized it actually wasn't even what I wanted. Because more often than not, we want things based on what people tell us, based on how it sounds, based on social status, based on our society. More often than not, that's why we say we want these things. And more often than not, we don't realize that. And that's okay. So instead, ask yourself, why do you want this certain thing? Is it because of then you can tell people you work this job or you have this possession or insert anything else. But instead, I've kind of gone off topic here, taking this bold, messy action. So an example here is I have been sharing a bunch of podcast clips to YouTube Shorts and TikTok. Not my Instagram, YouTube Shorts and TikTok. And my strategy right now is mass. It's quantity. I am just trying to get a lot of content out there. And it is messy. It is not perfect. It is not polished, but that's okay. I'm starting somewhere. It's my strategy for the interim. It's just at the minute. And it will evolve over time. But at the moment, I'm really focusing on growing the podcast even more, which is why it means so much to me if you could please leave a review on the podcast. It takes less than 120 seconds, less than 2 minutes of your time. And it helps us way more. It helps us in so many more ways than you can imagine. And so as I'm doing my research and I'm like, okay, let me focus on getting a bunch of short form content out there on TikTok, on YouTube Shorts. You know, there's like podcast reels that I'm sure a lot of us have seen. We've probably even sent it to our friends before, where it has the text, the captions, the emojis, the music, all that kind of stuff. That's what I'm doing a lot of. And so I'm focusing right now on just taking messy action. And it is not perfect and polished, and I'm not waiting for it to be perfect or polished to start. Instead, I'm taking this messy action and then I'm tweaking, I'm adapting, I'm learning, I'm shifting, I'm seeing what works versus what doesn't. And I will only learn that by taking this messy action. I will not learn what works and what doesn't work if I don't actually take the steps forward. You can get so caught up on research and reading and observing and consuming other people, thinking that this is actually learning. Like you think that you're actually making progress by being stuck in this research phase all the time, or you're stuck in this talking phase all the time. Yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. No. Yeah, like saying I'm going to do this, but that's you just not taking the action, because you learn so much more when you actually put one foot in front of the other. You do the thing, you put yourself out there, and you be okay with it not being perfect. You can't care what people think, which is so obvious to know, but it's the truth. When I was at this gala event, I think I spoke about this in the other episode. I was at a gala event for work the other week, and I was on the D floor. There was a D floor, there was one. And I was with another girl my age, and we wanted the DJ to play ABBA. We're like, okay, let's go up to the DJ and let's write on like on our notes, play ABBA, like really big writing. It was so funny. And then I was like, oh no, like I feel like I was doubting it. I was like, I feel like this isn't the vibe. I'm not getting like ABBA from him. I just don't think he'll do it. She's like, do you know him? I'm like, no. She's like, well, then who cares if he says no? And it was just, her delivery was just so funny. And I'm like, absolutely. Like I backed that confidence. Put ABBA on your phone. Let's go up there. And we did. And we showed him our sign and he didn't play it. But we're like, that's your loss. Because then we left the D floor and, you know, it could have been way more fun. Point is, this girl was so funny. She's like, well, do you know him? And I said, no. She's like, well, then who cares? But guess what, guys? Even if you do know them, who cares? People preach and talk about this so often because it is so important and powerful. When you can just drop the care, the worry of what people quote unquote might be thinking of you, it just frees up so much more space in your life to actually just go forward and do the things that you want to do. And I know that I go to a lot of work events, and more often than not, I'm the youngest there by a lot, and I don't know as many people as I don't know as many people as others. Actually, no, I'm starting to know a lot of people. Point is, I am often the youngest there. And when I first started going to these events, you best believe I was intimidated and shy and scared and really worried what people would think of me. And I made it all about me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Isabel, get over yourself. Because look at it, you're in a room with so many successful, older than you business owners. This is fantastic. You can learn so much. And you best believe that's what I'm doing. Because I'm not caring what people think. And I'm walking into these events, into these rooms with this with this confident energy in myself, knowing that I bring a lot to the table. I know my value, I know my worth, and I stand there so authentically like me. I dress like me, I act like me. I don't pretend to put on this front. I am completely myself. And sometimes conversations lead to something, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're awkward and clunky, sometimes they're not. It's one or the other, and it's mostly the latter. It's mostly always aligned and leads to something great, and it's incredible. The people I've met at these events that are 20 plus years older than me, and I'm getting so many opportunities from them, and jobs and clients and networking and connections and events, and like it's opened up 35,000 doors for me, like so many doors, because I'm being myself. I'm taking this bold, messy action. I remember the very first event I went to by myself. This is so funny. The very first event I went to by myself, it was at this venue that was 3 stories. The event was on the very top floor. I got myself to the event. I went inside the building. I went to the 2nd floor. I thought that's where it was. I walk in. There's a few people there. It looked a bit weird. It was for something so random as well. I'm like, oh, I think this is it. I walked in, and then it was so funny. Someone came up to me, like the people that were running the event, and he's like, oh, hi, like, what's your name? And I said, I'm Isabel. And he's like, okay, like, here's a little name tag, write your name on it. And then the photographer was there, and he's like, oh, can we get some photos of you? I'm like, okay. And so I'm in all these photos, and then my boss messages me and says, Isabel, where are you? I'm like, I'm at the event. Where are you? He's like, me too. I'm in the corner. There was no one else there. I'm like, oh my God, I'm in the wrong place. But I had all these photos to promote the event. I should try find that. That'll be quite funny. And then I'm like, oh my God, I'm in the wrong event. And so I went upstairs to the top floor, and it was like popping. It was so full. I see my boss in the corner. I'm like, oh my gosh, hello. You would not believe what just happened. But I took that bold, messy action. Point is, my first time doing these things wasn't perfect. I didn't even get myself to the right event. But now I'm going to 2, 3, sometimes even 4 events throughout the week by myself. I'm learning more. I'm meeting more people. I'm connecting. I'm building these relationships. And it's fabulous. It's wonderful. I love it so much. But the first time wasn't that perfect. It was clunky. It was awkward. I didn't go to the right venue. But now people are recognizing me. I'm talking and I'm connecting with people, and they're saying, oh, I recognize you from so-and-so. Oh, I saw you at that last event. Oh, you're Isabel. You work here. And I'm like, oh my gosh, people know me. This is crazy. It's because I'm putting myself out there every single time. Every single time. And it's so cool. Like, I'm essentially becoming like the talk of the town in a way at all these events because I'm putting myself out there. I'm doing the things. It's so cool. So cool. I'm so proud of myself. Like, this has been a year in the making. It was actually really cool. At the start of this year, I made a goal for Q1 to attend more networking events. And it's funny, when I made this goal, I had no idea how I would. I'm like, oh, how am I even going to get my foot in the door in these things? Like, I don't know what things to join, memberships. Like, I was clueless. And this is the beauty of manifestation. I wrote this down, and it was the last day of Q1. And my boss sends a message in our group co-working chat, our group chat, and he says he had an event on the next night, and he said, who wants to come with me? Like, I can bring, a few people. And I'm like, oh my God, this is my sign. This is it. And I was so scared to say yes. I felt like imposter syndrome. Who am I? I felt awkward. I thought it'd be really cringe. I'm just like, I don't know. I was really nervous, but I knew so much is what I had to do. And I said yes, and I went, and then I rocked up and went to the wrong event. But then I found him found my boss after in the right place. And that one yes led to endless yeses. After that one time, it just worked out so well. I got amazing content at the event. My boss really liked that. And I was connecting with a lot of people. And that one yes just turned into it becoming a big part of my job and what I do now at the marketing agency I work at. And now I go to events all the time to represent the agency by myself, a lot of the times by myself. And I wouldn't change it. And that was a goal of mine. And I had no idea how it would happen. But I was taking that bold, messy action. I was putting myself out there. If I never did that, I probably wouldn't have had that manifestation come true as soon as I wanted it to. Because more often than not, things that you want, if you really align your thoughts to them, they will happen one way or another. But it's the speed of it, how quickly it happens. You get to decide that. Me to number 2, which is love your life, love the mundane parts. So I recently did a post on my Instagram showcasing the 7 trips I've done around Australia in the past 7 months. How fun is that? So almost after every trip, I would say to the person that I was traveling with how much I was looking forward to coming back home to my routine, to my work, to my healthier eating, to going to the gym again, to sleeping in my bed, whatever it was. Whatever it was I was focused on at the time as well. So my career, my business, my side hustle, whatever like my focus was. Like at the start of the year, I was doing a Pilates challenge where I was doing 4 classes for 6 weeks, and it just became such an ingrained part of my lifestyle. And when I was traveling, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm missing out on this. I need to go back. I love it so much. So whatever was my focus at the time, I was literally missing that. I was missing the mundane moments of life, of routine back home in Adelaide. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because, traveling is so much fun and I love it, and it's expansion and it's adventure, and it's like you get to run away from your life for a bit and just experience something new. Who doesn't want that? It's so much fun and so enjoyable. But when you can also just find so much joy and love in your current life, and you're not doing it to quote unquote run away, but you're doing it to, okay, you want a break, you want something new, change of scenery, you want some more sun, you want something else, whatever it is. But you're not doing it to escape. The point being, learn to love your life as part as your routine, as part as your identity, what you do every day. Maybe you work a job you don't love. What parts of it can you start to love? I guarantee there's something, surely. The people, the commute, maybe it's really close to your house, maybe it's the break you get, maybe it's the time off you get, maybe it's the pay, whatever it is. I've worked a few of my casual jobs in the past. One of them in particular sucked so much, but the money was so good. I was like 20 years old at university, and it was not a glamorous job. It was icky, it was dirty, it was working at a hospital in a kitchen. Like, it wasn't nice, but the money was sweet, especially as like a 20-year-old. And the people were there. I liked the people that I worked with, and the hours were actually really good with my university schedule. So there were perks in other ways. Not everything is perfect. Not everything is going to be like, you're not going to prance around this life where everything is just A+ every single day. There's ups and downs all the time. Even with being an entrepreneur, having your own business, people think, oh my God, it's so cool. You work for yourself, you work at home, you can do whatever you want all the time. It's like, yeah, that is great. It has its advantages, but there's also the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, the self-doubt, the mindset work, the fact that some months are higher than others when it comes to income. There's always polarity in everything. So don't think that somebody's life is perfect. It ain't. And last one, the most unsexy answer for you. I'm sorry, but I need to share this. And that is patience. Patience is a virtue. So how can you practice more patience in your day-to-day life? Maybe it's sparking up a conversation with your barista while waiting for your coffee, instead of having your head buried in your phone scrolling the TikTok feed or Instagram Explore feed or Facebook feed or insert anything else you're scrolling. How can you focus more on deep breathing? When you're waiting for something to load on your computer, how many of us reach for our phones and scroll to fill the time? Remember, we're becoming more single task minded, not spreading ourselves thin in so many ways. My baristas where I get my coffee near my office are beautiful, and I've built such beautiful connections with them both because I take the time and I chat with them every single day that I go, and I learn more about them and I ask about their weekends and what they're working towards and anything fun coming up in their life or anything like that. Because I'm, instead of just waiting and scrolling my phone like a lot of people do, I'm choosing to engage in conversation. And I think that is the best thing that so many of us are missing out on. More often than not, you might have to be the person that starts the conversation, but more often than not, that person will likely respond positively and engage back and talk with you, and you just never know where it'll lead to. And I think it's just so important to engage in more conversations in our everyday life with people around us, at the gym, at the coffee shop, in the office, at the store, whatever it is. Like, that's something I have really developed a lot recently, is if I'm anywhere, like I was at the Hague's store the other day buying a little gift for somebody, and one of the workers was there like stocking the shelves, and I don't know, something happened and I made a weird funny joke, and then we just started chatting about, I can't even remember now, but like, point is, people are almost like afraid to engage in conversation and to talk to strangers or talk to people that we don't normally talk to. But I think this has come from attending a lot of these events as well. I talk to all different characters, all different ages, all different industries, all different job titles. Men, women, older, younger. And it gives you really great social skills. And it enables you to really just insert yourself in the right situations and hold yourself the right way. And a big part of my tactic and my strategy is being an observer and not being this show-off, know-it-all. I'm not saying I am that person, but it's actually okay just to listen and to use your voice selectively, because that way people listen to it more. But then I have a podcast where I talk all the time, so it's like, you can't put me in a box, basically. I like to be both ends. So we are going to wrap up on that episode there. I feel like that was kind of all over the place, but 3 steps to manifest quicker and easier. Let's recap. Taking that bold, messy action. Things lead to things. More often than not, you will do something and it will lead you to something else that your mind hasn't yet fathomed, which is the best part. Number 2, love your life, even the mundane. How can you learn to love your life even more? And number 3, the most unsexy answer in the world, but patience, my love. Patience is where it's at. Finding more stillness, focusing more on single tasks at hand and not spreading yourself thin is what is really going to help you center and calm yourself, which will put you in this energy for your manifestations to come to you, because you're not all over the shop trying to do 13,000 million things. Trust me, it works. So I'm going to leave you on that point there. Remember, guys, if this episode inspired you, it would mean the world to me if you could please leave the show a rating and review. Your feedback helps the podcast grow and reach more amazing listeners just like you. If you could please leave a review on Spotify, you can swipe up and tap the 5 stars, or on Apple, you can actually leave a text review as well. It would take less than 2 minutes and it will help us for many more episodes, seasons, and years to come. Thank you so much for starting somewhere.